Hi, I'm Andy Webb. Welcome to my channel. This is the place you want to be to make the most from your money, whether that's making money, saving money, or helping you better manage your finances. And that's what I'm going to talk about with you today. It is a bank account review for Starling Bank. Here you go. I've got a normal Starling account and I've got a business Starling account. I'm going to focus on this one, this mint green they call it. This is the main Starling account. So that's what I'm going to take you through. I've got my phone here with the app as well, so I'll be able to go into that and sort of take you through so you can see some of the features, see some of the things and how it works and how it looks. Because it is quite different to your normal high street bank that you might have been with for years and years and years. And that's because Starling, along with places like Monzo and Revolut, they have been built from an app perspective from the very, very start. They did not have any kind of history where they've got all these legacies and red tapes that they've got to work around and move one structure to another structure from paper banking to digital banking to app banking. No, they started with one of these, with a phone, with an app. Everything has been designed to work this way. And that means they can do all sorts of different things. And Starling, along with Monzo, I think have been some of the most innovative ones out there. Now, I have got a previous video where I've looked at Starling and Monzo and Revolut and Monese and compared them. But this one's going to go into detail, particularly on Starling Bank, because a few things have happened recently, which I'll get into, which I think means it's worth having a new look at it, a fresh look, and seeing whether this could be the number one bank for you, the one that you use day in and day out. So first of all, let me tell you a little bit about it. It started in 2014, so it's still pretty young. It's a new bank, but it has become one of the most established of these challenger banks. Monzo does have more customers, but Starling has got 1.5 million so far, and it is proving very popular. So not just in that personal current account, but you can also get joint accounts, teen accounts. There's a new kids account that's come out, and there's also the business account. Again, as I said, this focuses on that kind of normal current account, which essentially the joint accounts are the same and the other accounts are the same as well. Business features are very similar as well. So if you're thinking to get a business account, the things I'm going to tell you about now will be the same, but there are a few extra bits and pieces you might want to look at. And I do have a video about the best business current accounts, so do check that one out too. Now, something probably to lead on, because this might rule out Starling for you. As I mentioned, this is a bank that has been developed from scratch to be used on your mobile phone. And that means one very, very, very big difference to normal banks. There are no branches. You will not be able to go into a branch and chat to someone or do whatever it is you might do in a bank. None of those exist. Now, for most people, I don't think that's going to be a problem. When did you last go into your bank for any significant reason? Probably very, very, very rare that you've done that. But you can't do that with Starling. It is not an option. Now, if let's say you get cash, maybe that's one reason why you might want to go into your bank to pay that in. It could be your birthday, maybe someone's paid you some money that they owe you. You can still do that, but you have to go to a post office instead. But they won't charge you anything for this. Unlike Monzo, where you will get charged for depositing cash in one of the sort of pay places, you do charge nothing for using the post office. So that's a bonus. Hopefully that'll mitigate most of your problems. If you've got a check, most people don't have checks nowadays, don't use them. You can use the app to pay them in, which is fantastic. I've actually been using that a lot over lockdown because I've been shopping for an old lady and she's been giving me a check to pay in, and I've been using both my Starling account and my Halifax account to do this. The Starling one does have a weekly limit. You can't pay in lots of checks, but let's face it, that's not going to be an issue for most people either. So I think on the whole, you're going to be fine. If you're worried about customer service and how you actually get support, there are phone numbers you can call. Again, you can't bank on the phone. You can't make them do anything with your money, but they can help you fix things. And also there's a live chat and also a kind of email service within the app where you can get that support that you need. Again, it's not necessarily going to be instant, but let's face it, if you phone any bank, you're probably going to wait for a while. But that's the big thing. If that rules you out, fine, stop watching now. But if you're happy with having a bank which is digital only, then this could be a really good option. And something that's happened brand new, one of those things I've mentioned that's just happened right now, is you can also access your account on your desktop. This is just in the start of October, that's when you've been able to do it. Most of the features that you've got on the app are on the desktop, so you can do everything you want to do. You might need the app on hand to approve transactions, to set up a new person or move some money. But you can analyze your spending and things like that on your desktop as well as your app, which is a great thing. It's been around for business banking accounts for a while now, but all customers can now access that. Another really important thing to say here is it is a UK regulated bank, which means it has things like the Financial Services Compensation Scheme protection. That's where if the bank was to go bust, was to go under, your money is protected by the government up to £85,000. Really important one. Revolut, for example, that is not a UK regulated bank. It does not have that protection. But Starling, along with Monzo, they do, which is a really good, important thing to look for if you're going to have any sort of sizable sums of cash in your account. Now, Starling is a free bank account. There are no charges to open up your account and use it on a daily basis. There are a few extra charges coming in on the 4th of November 2020, but most people, they're not going to be impacted by this. So for all intents and purposes, it's going to remain a free bank. I'll quickly run through some of those charges. There will be £2 charge per additional personal or joint account. So you can have one free personal account, one free joint account. If you want more than one, and you can, you'll get charged £2. There's going to be a £5 charge for replacement cards. Now you'll get your normal, if the card's expired, you'll get that replacement for free, and you can lose a card and ask for a replacement once for free every single year. So it's only going to be if you're someone who loses a card at least twice, are you going to find that payment. Now you could be unlucky, but most people, they're not going to be impacted by that. There's a feature I'll talk about shortly called connected charges. There's going to be a new £2 a month fee for those. There's going to be a £20 chaps payment fee, but again, most people aren't going to be making chaps payments. And finally, if you have a Euro account, and that's an additional account that you can set up once you've got your Starling account, which is in Euros. Very simple. So it's great if you're someone who receives a lot of money in Euros. Perhaps you've got family over there, you're often going over there, or maybe your job pays you in Euros and you want a UK account as well. That is going to have a minus 0.5% charge for anything over 50 grand. So that means essentially it's negative interest rates. You will be charged for having that much money. But let's face it, most people, we're not going to have that much cash in there, most Starling users. So that's what's happening. So for all intents and purposes, it remains a free account. It won't cost you a thing. Now, to get one of these, you have to download the app. So you can get that on iOS, you can get it on Android, no problem at all. You enter in your mobile phone number, that will authorise you, get a code to say this is you. You have to scan in a photo ID, so a passport or a UK driving licence. Again, you have to be a UK resident over 16 for this. And then once they've authorised you through that, they take a little video of you, like a selfie video. You have to repeat a phrase and a code, and you move your head while you're doing it. And that, again, those things authorise who you are, verify who you are, and then you've got your account. It's really, really quick. It takes no time at all. Your card will then be sent to you in the post within a couple of days. It doesn't take long at all. It comes in a nice sort of fancy envelope, and you'll get the card, one like this in that kind of mint green, if you're getting a normal personal current account. As far as the PIN is concerned, you set that yourself when you apply for the account. So that's really good. You don't have to worry about when it comes through the post, remembering what it is, and then going to a cash machine and then changing it. No, you have selected that PIN when you've opened the account. So it's really, really simple. All you're waiting for is that card to come through and you can start using it. So let's have a look at some of the features. I've got my phone here, I'm recording the screen, so I'll put that in the big gap over there so you can see what I'm doing. Open up the app, and there's a Face ID for me. You can do thumbprint as well. Either way, it's an extra bit of security. If you don't have either of those, then you enter a PIN code. You have to enter that PIN code to open the app. So it's nice and secure that way. Someone can't pick up your phone and have access if they don't have that biometric details or if you've given them the PIN. But you shouldn't be doing that. Don't give anyone the PIN for your banking apps. As you see, this when you open the app, you'll get a sense of what you spent on that day and what you spent that month. As you see, I haven't spent anything and I haven't got much money in there because I don't use this as my main account. But if you do, you'll see all the different transactions you've made on that day straight away on your first screen. So it's just like a kind of a quite a clean entry page. I kind of think it's a bit wasted. I'm not a big fan of this entry page. Maybe there could be more information on there at first glance. But if you scroll up, swipe up, you get all your recent transactions. As you can see, a lot of check payments for me, for that old lady that I've been doing her shopping for, someone paying me some payment to a friend there, payment to another my bank, keep going like that. It's pretty much all the same kind of stuff. But that's the main sort of thing, so you can see what's been going on, check your transactions. A few other tabs at the bottom here. Let's have a look at payments. A couple of things here to look at. Scheduled is really good. Now, if I had all my bills in here, my direct debits, they would be appearing in one go, so I could quickly see not just who I'm paying money to, so I don't forget any of these standing orders and direct debits, but also when they're coming out. It helps you plan ahead, helps you know, hang on, this amount of money is going to go out on this day. You go back to your balance, have you got enough money? It's a really nice way of tracking your spending. You also got a payments tab there. Again, there's no information in there for me right now, but again, it's a nice way of seeing people you've recently paid, people you want to pay. If you've got other Starling accounts, they appear in there as well. Then we hit spending. Now I've jumped here to October 2019 because that was the last time I used this card when I was on holiday. But it will give you a list of all the people you've shopped with. And one of those, it bundles them together. So although haven't actually got any repeat ones here, if I'd been to, let's say, IHOP, this was when I was on holiday, more than once, I would hit that and it would show me all the transactions from IHOP. So it groups them together, which is quite nice. So it kind of might be a bit, if you're not sure where your money goes, you go in here and go, blimey, I'm spending a lot of money on Uber, a lot of money on Amazon. That's a really nice way of breaking it down. If you hit categories, again, they're automatically put into those different areas. So you can see here, in October, I spent £81.31 on transport. If I hit that, again, it's two petrol stations there. But it's a really nice way of helping you budget and keep track of where your money is going. I think it's not too dissimilar to what Monzo's got. I think it's really about personal preference, which one is best. I think Monzo's possibly a little bit better, but this is fantastic. So I think you'd be very happy with this in helping you track your spending. And again, similarly, you can hit the income tab and it shows that I've transferred money in from one of my other accounts. So pretty simple there. You're spending money, you're sending money to people are sending money to you, money's going out of the account, all that kind of stuff. Much, much easier, I feel, to track it here in something like Starling than it is in any of the banking apps I have. And long-term viewers and readers of the blog will know I have about 14 different current accounts, and therefore I've got about 14 different apps that I've seen and used for all the different banks. This really is, I think, stand out compared to most of those others. Again, only Monzo really has, I think, any kind of comparison. So let's hit card. This is a really interesting one. I have to blur some of these features out for you. But you can see straight away at the top there, the bit blurred out right at the top, below where it says Starling Bank, that is my card number, expiry date, and those 3 digits from the back. So if you don't have your card on you and you want to spend money, open the app and you can make a payment, which I think is a really lovely feature. I've also blurred out a online payment code here. That's a useful thing, which changes quite frequently, but you can, it helps to kind of authorize you. It's an extra security measure. But where this stuff gets interesting in this section are down here. You have card and currency controls. Let's have a look at that. These are some of the things you can do. You can turn off your card for ATM withdrawals. It cannot be used for cash machine withdrawals. So this last section to talk about on the app are spaces. Very similar, if you're familiar with Monzo, to their pots. The idea is you can set up a section, a separate section within the app and move money in there, and it is completely separate to your main balance. So there's no risk of you accidentally spending cash you were putting towards a holiday or whatever, emergency pot, whatever it might be. It's completely separate over there. You can name them with whatever it is you're saving for. You can have quite a few of them. I've set up a couple of dummy ones here. I've got a festival one, as if I was saving for a festival, holiday if I was saving for a holiday. I can transfer money over if I want to from the account, put it in there, or I can activate something called Roundup. This is a cool little feature I've spoken about before in terms of savings, but every time you spend money, let's say you spend £1.80 in a shop, 20p would also be moved from your main balance into that saving space where you've got that set up. So it kind of helps you save a little bit extra as you go along. Lovely little feature. Lots of banks are doing that right now. But yeah, Monzo and Starling were amongst the first ones with that, and you can do that quite nicely. I've also got this connected card space here. I mentioned that earlier when we talked about the fees. This is a nice one where you can get an additional card which is linked to a space, capped at £200. You can't put more than 200 quid in there. But you can give that card to someone and they can go out and use it, and the money comes from your account. So there's no problems there in terms of dealing with cash or checks afterwards, although that's not much of an issue. Probably quite handy if you can't leave the home for any reason. Maybe you're shielding. You've got one of these, you can give it to a neighbour. They can go and shop with it. You set the PIN. They spend the money. They can only spend what's in that space. And if there's nothing in that space, they can't spend anything at all, can they? So I think that's really, really good. Loads of great features in there. As you see, it's very different to so many other banking apps. A few more bits and pieces, just to show you quickly. If you tap this corner up here, you can see you can look at your account information, personal details. You can get your statements. Again, you can get them on the desktop one as well. Get them as a CSV file or as a PDF, and either on desktop download them to your computer and use them how you want to, or here just email them to yourself. You've got your help, a few other bits and pieces. Really, the things in here pretty much are stuff that I've already shown you. It's just another way of getting to it. Oh, and one last thing to tell you about a feature within the app. You can very, very easily share your account details, so your account number and your sort code with friends. You can either forward them as a text message or WhatsApp message, whatever it might be, to somebody else. If they owe you money for a meal, you can quickly work that out from a transaction and send them an IOU with those details so they can quickly then pay you back. You can also copy and paste details. So let's say you're setting up a direct debit somewhere else on your phone, or you are in another banking app trying to transfer money to your Starling account. You can copy it and then paste it straight in. None of that having to worry about remembering what the digits are, which I struggle with. I don't know about you, but I struggle to remember stuff. I have to go back and forth every 3 or 4 digits. So that's the app sorted anyway. A few other things to tell you about. With the card itself, you might have noticed there's no number on the front. That's because all those details are on the back. It's a nice little security feature, I suppose. It's probably most useful to people like me who are showing you your card, showing you my card, so you can't see what those details are. Everything's on the back, including the expiry date and the 3 digits and all of that kind of stuff. Gives it a nice sleek look. I think it's a nice looking card. If that worries you too much for me, I'm not too bothered, but it is, I guess, a nice looking one compared to a lot of the others. Also with this card, when you use it overseas or on a foreign website, you won't be charged any money at all in terms of transaction fees. You will get the real exchange rate. Yes, other places do that. Starling stands out, I think, over the others because when you use it for cash withdrawals overseas, then there are no limits, no charges at all. You can take out as much as you want from those cash machines up to those daily limits. Now that's even more important now because Monzo, not only has it got that limit on overseas cash withdrawals, they've also brought that into UK ATM withdrawals as well. Now we don't take money out very often, but if you think you will, it's another reason why Starling has that slight advantage over Monzo. In terms of interest, you don't get very much with Starling at all. You get 0.05% on the money in there. Now that is more than you'll get with pretty much most high street basic banks which haven't got a special savings feature, but it's not much at all. It's hardly anything to shout about. We aren't talking about much of a return each year from that. In terms of overdraft, Starling does have the edge over a lot of the other banks right now. Now, depending on your credit report, your overdraft rate is either going to be 15%, 25%, or 35%. Now, any of those are actually lower than what most banks are charging now. Most of them are going on to about 39, 40%, which is a huge amount. Whole video that you need to check out. If you use your overdraft, you need to check out this video. So 35% is a little bit less than that, 25% is less than that, and 15 again. But none of them are fantastic. They're still expensive ways to borrow money. But if you can't get a 0% purchase credit card, you can't get a balance transfer credit card to move some of your debts that way, you can't get a money transfer card or any of these things, then potentially it's worth giving Starling a go because you might get that lower 15% or lower 25% and it won't cost you quite as much as if you're using an overdraft with one of the other banks. But ideally, you want to avoid overdrafts overall. There's also a loan feature that Starling has. It's very easy to get these and set them up within the app. You go in, you apply for the loan, they'll tell you very quickly if you've got it, and then you can manage it and monitor it and make those payments from within the app. However, if you're getting a loan, a personal loan, you need to do a full market search. You need to see what other rates, what other terms are on offer from other places. And you might find you can get a much lower rate of interest. In fact, you probably can. So don't just because you've got the app think that's an easy place to get the money. No, have a look around and so you make sure you are getting, as I say, the cheapest possible loan in terms of the interest that's going to be added onto the money you borrow. So there you go. You now know a little bit about Starling, how it works, what it offers. You've seen the app. You've seen how different that is to most banking apps. Although a lot of the other banks are trying to add similar features, trying to catch up with Starling and Monzo and offer similar things, Starling, I think, still does it better than all of them. And let's face it, if those banks are copying these features, what are Starling going to do next? What are the new features, the new innovations that it will introduce? I definitely think if you're keen to get a new bank and have changed your banking, Starling is a really great option for you. As I've mentioned a few times, I think it has a slight edge over Monzo. Mainly things like the ability to pay money in at a post office, pay a check in with the app, to take money out anywhere in the UK or abroad without any limits. And I also really like it. I think it has a few extra controls for your card, which I think give it, again, all that stuff gives it, for me, kind of the edge over Monzo. So I would use that. The only kind of bit there is maybe if you want it for budgeting features, you might want to give Monzo a try as well. You might find that a little bit easier to use, but do you know what? It's really marginal. Maybe the best thing, as I say, is to get both of them, give them both a try for a week or so. They're both completely free, not going to charge you anything just to open the account and use them, and then decide if you want which one you want to use for your day-to-day banking. However, I would caution you against making Starling your only bank that you have. I would always have a high street bank as a backup. Even if you're using Starling for your salary coming in and all your direct debits coming in and out and to wait most of your money in there, I would always have a separate account with some money in there in case things go wrong. Now, they might not ever happen. You might be fine. But for example, it's only on your phone. The only way to access your account is via your phone. Even the desktop option, which is fantastic innovation, great that we can do that as well now. You still need your phone to authorize your login to the desktop. So until you get a new phone, until you install the Starling app again and you get your account set up on there, you are without access to it at all with your money. Yes, you can go to the cash machine, take cash out. You go to the post office and take cash out, but you can't do any payments. You can't do any mess with your standing orders or anything like that. Okay, so always have money available to you elsewhere in case you need it. Similarly, although it hasn't happened to Starling, we've seen problems this year with a lot of the fintech firms where the payment processor went awry and no one could send money again. We saw it with TSB, it's a normal bank, but again, digital banking went down. Other banks have had a similar thing over the last few years. If you have just one bank and it is an app-based bank, you have no backup to access your cash. So again, that high street bank, for whatever reason, at least you can walk in there and do something. Even if it's only a small amount of your cash, you can do something with that money. It's also worth thinking about some of the benefits that you'll get from some of those high street banks. If the main reason you're looking at this Starling review is you think, I'm fed up with whoever it is, I want to move to a new bank, Starling sounds exciting. Well, you can open up a Starling account, by all means, do that, move your money over there. You can do a partial switch, but you should be looking at switching bonuses and get some free cash elsewhere. So move that money, and I've got, again, more information about that over on the blog, and I'll link below to that as well. And there are also accounts which offer things like interest on your savings. At the time of recording this, you can get 2% from Nationwide for a year, 2.02% from Virgin. Yes, it's on a small amount of money, but that's more than you're going to get if you're leaving it there in one of your spaces or just your normal Starling account. Or you can get cash back on your bills from the likes of Santander, 123 Lite account. So there are reasons for you to have a separate account elsewhere, maybe more than one of those, doing certain things. They give you advantages like savings, like cashback, but they also potentially give you that security if something was to go wrong. But if you get that in place, then yeah, I think Starling is a really, really good bank to go. And it's also worth noting it scores quite well on Ethical Consumer's ranking of different banks. It's not right at the top, it's not as high as Triodos or Nationwide, but it does do pretty well. And that's partly because it doesn't do any bad things, so to speak. So it's not investing in nuclear weapons, it's not investing in tobacco, it's not investing in oil pipelines or fracking. So it's not necessarily proactively ethical, but it isn't doing the things that a lot of the other banks are doing. And Ethical Consumer does say that it is marginally more engaged in ethics than Monzo. So not a ringing endorsement, but if you're looking at, again, a reason to go between Starling or Monzo, then again, Starling possibly has that kind of slight edge. If you found this useful, please do hit that like button. Really, really appreciate that. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you use Starling already, what you think of it, or if you're banking with someone else, why you're thinking of moving away. And don't forget, I also have a regular monthly rundown of the best current account switching offers, interest available, overdrafts, cashback, all those kind of things. So that's probably, if you're thinking of changing your bank, that's probably the next video you want to be checking out to make sure you see the whole picture of what's available to you. Until next time, cheers. And here are a couple more videos you might find interesting.